Hello guys, my name is Yara and today we're going to be starting a new segment where I'm going to be reviewing certain decks that top in today's meta. And a couple of people asked me about this deck to review it on Discord, and that's what gave me the idea of starting this new segment. And this is a 6th place INFERNOBLE Knights deck profile that topped in the UK Extravaganza, and this is not common, so that's why I kind of was hyped to talk about this. And I'm gonna be reviewing card by card, and I'm gonna be telling you my opinions on the build that they decided to go with, and let's see what we can learn from this deck profile, right? So now don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, but now let's get started with the deck review. Okay, so first of all, he starts with an Arborea. It's kind of crazy how he decides to go with Arborea and not Gemba. And once we go to his extra deck, then it's gonna make more sense why he decides to go with the Arborea. Plus, that Arborea, uh, it's like a mixed bag where like some INFERNOBLE Knights players play it, some don't. So, and the fact that Arborea can special summon itself out, it's a plus over Genba. But Genba being a fire warrior, it's another plus over Arborea. So it's just a matter of your build and whatever you prefer, right? And I've seen some other YouTubers, some big YouTubers review this deck profile, and they just kind of like glance over the build and they don't even know like what to say about this build. But since I have knowledge about the INFERNOBLE Knights playstyle and deck builds and everything, I can say more of my input about it. And it kind of like made me mad that they weren't really saying anything about this. I'm like, this is crazy. This is not like your usual INFERNOBLE Knight deck profile, so that's why I also wanted to make a video about this. But yeah, that's about 001. And then he goes with the triple Fire Flame Lady. Usually you see either one or two on builds, but the triple makes sense if you think about it because it's a free extender, plus it helps you special summon out a level 4 or lower warrior from your hand. So it makes sense a lot, honestly. And also, a lot of people don't know this cool trick, but if you special summon that with Isold, it helps you not use many equips, right? Because if you think about it, if you want to special summon a level 4 with Isold, you have to send 4 equips, right? But with a Fire Flame Lady, you just have to send 1 equip, special summon her. Then if you have a level 4 warrior in your hand, you can just send Fire Flame Lady and special summon the level 4, and you save yourself 3 equips. So if you look at his build, he's only running 4 equips in total, 4 different names of equips. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? If you think about it. Other people run more, but I'm getting carried away. I just love INFERNOBLE Knights, honestly, and I can just keep on talking about it, and I can just go on and on and on. But what in the world? Look at this. He's running triple Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. I've seen some builds with 2, but it's usually the norm is just 1 because he can be kind of bricky, right? You can normal summon him by tributing 2 monsters, but the main way you summon him is by by banishing an equip, right? But that's only a hard once per turn, right? So dang, that's crazy that they're running 3. But that card is very good because it's a 1 card out to Dragoon. So like I can see why they're doing it. I just want to ask this player, like, did they brick a lot? Did they draw multiples of him a lot? But this plus Aqua Dolphin equals anti Nibiru because you special summon Gearfried, you normal summon Aqua Dolphin, you pitch a card, and if Nibiru's in their hand, since Immortal Fire Phoenix is 3000, then Nibiru dies, right? So in that aspect, that's also good. So dang, it's a risky game, but I think if it pays off, it pays off big, right? Because this is like what a lot of people fear in this deck, Gearfried, because it can be pretty annoying to out, honestly. But let's keep going. He went with the triple Renaud. He is just defying the norm. The norm right now is 2 Renauds because both of his effects are hard ones per turn. So it doesn't make that much sense to run like multiples, because if you draw multiples, then you can't really do anything with that, right? Because you can only get each effect once per turn. So, but yeah, we went with the triple Renaud, but then he went with the Astolfo, and that's also crazy. Like I've tested Astolfo a lot, but I always end up taking it out because the second effect doesn't really come up that often. But if you're gonna run Astolfo, it's mainly for the first effect to special summon itself out by banishing a fire warrior. But that's crazy that maybe a lot more Infernoble Knights players are gonna be adding Astolfo to the deck, right? Because it's almost like a free extender if you think about it, because you can just banish from your graveyard. But yeah, that's pretty insane to me. Then he went with the Wano gear. That's normal, right? It helps you with your Entei Nibiru combo. If you want to see how to do that, make sure to go check in my videos. The Entei Nibiru video that I made, gear will be able to help you with that. But triple Oliver, I love triple Oliver. I've seen some lists with two Oliver, and I'm like, oh, that's a dangerous game you're running. Oliver is just amazing in this deck, honestly. Then with the Cold Wing, the Brick, triple Connector, and the one Aqua Dolphin. I love that ratio. I think Connector is the superior normal summon in the deck, right? It's way better than Sublimation Knight. I've tried Sublimation Knight and my win rate just plummeted. Don't ever try it, right? Then he went with the triple red layer. Of course, you gotta go with the triple red layer. If you look at my last video where I made the INFERNOBLE deck profile, I said this card is busted. Why are people just running one or two? Not three should be the norm. It's just an amazing card. Helps you play against back row decks. Helps you play against Dragon Link. Card's amazing. With triple Durandal, that's normal. The one different dimensional, that is crazy to me because almost every single deck plays three of them, right? Because you wanna like guarantee it with your power tool, but he's running the one of. I think he's just running it because he wants to like target it with Renaud to get it from grave, so he can send it with Isold, special summon Renaud, activate Renaud's effect to get the different dimensional from ground. So I guess it makes sense, but three is usually the norm. But it may mean that he's not running power tool, but we'll see. Then the Phoenix Blade, triple Heritage, one Living Puzzle. That's normal. Everything here is normal. One Monster Reborn, questionable, but it helps you go first or second as an extra extender. So Monster Reborn, you can never actually argue against it, right? Two Pot of Prosperities. I don't know why he went with the two Pot of Prosperities. Maybe because three is breaky. I mean, when you draw multiples of them, is breaky, so it makes sense. A lot of people used to do this with Pot of Desires, where they would just run two of them because they didn't want to open multiples of them. But it's crazy because you normally don't see pots on an INFERNOBLE Knight deck, because Pot of Desires, you can never run that because you can banish your Cold Wing or your 001. Pot of Duality, you can't run that because you want a special summon. And Pot of Extravagance, you need your extra deck. And Pot of Prosperity is the more likely one to be able to use on INFERNOBLE Knights, but it's still kind of iffy because there are times where you go through your whole extra deck. So this guy is running a pretty crazy list if you think about it. The one Rhoda standard triple tactic talents. Ah man, this card is so good because usually what happens is you normal summon Connector, activate effect, they ash you, then you activate triple tactic talents, you take off another hand trap from the hand or one of their starters, and now you're just free to combo off. That's the best way to use triple tactic talents. But it's also good going second because you can take their Dragoon, you can take any annoying monster that can't be targeted or anything. So car is solid, so it makes sense. And yeah, and then he's running 40 on the main, and I love to see that. Like DB Grinder would say, gotta love to see it. But yeah, a lot of decks, I've seen decks running 45, 50 cards on INFERNOBLE Knights. I'm like, you're crazy, dude. You want to open your connector every single hand. You want to open an extender every single hand. So it makes no sense. It makes no sense why you will run more than 40, right? I run 40 on my decks. If you look at my past profiles, deck profiles, 40 on the INFERNOBLE Knight decks, because you want to open connector, you want to open Rhoda, right? You want to open any of those cards that are like your bread and butter of your deck, right? So 40, love it, love it. But yeah, now we're gonna go to the extra deck, and I haven't looked at this list, so that's why we're both of us are going through this list together. Okay, so that's why I just want you to get my genuine reaction to this deck list. But access code standard, OTK, you need it. Borrow load, of course, standard. Coral drag. Okay, so we gotta stop this. We gotta stop here. Now it makes sense why he's running the Arborea, because Arborea is level 3, and with Aurora Dawn, you get a bunch of level 3 tokens. So it makes sense why he's running the Arborea now, because he wants to get the extra draw out of the Coral Dragon. Plus, what you would do is you synchro 6 Coral Dragon, then you use your other token to go into Charles, because that would mean 9. So that means you get a draw. So he wants to keep getting card advantage, right? So yeah, he's going with a similar build that you will see on something like Virtual World, right, where you want to keep getting cards. The needle fiber, double seals, heralds, the one Roland, the one Charles. I just want to congratulate this guy because he's running Roland and Charles. I've seen lists where they cut one or the other. Like, come on, this is INFERNOBLE Knights. You cannot cut those two off, either of them, because that's like the main core of this deck, right? That's the reason why I started playing this deck, is because of the Charles and Roland interactions. Like, I just love those two cards in particular. I just love those cards. Just like looking at them, like they're like something that you would see in an anime or something like that. And I just love also their effects and everything. So you can't cut those out. Come on, this is INFERNOBLE Knights. The Double Light Souls, the Phoenix. Love the Phoenix, by the way. Almost zero deck lists run Phoenix, and Phoenix is just helps you just get rid of those annoying back rows. Like, there can only be one, or any, like, if you just see like a back row on your opponent, I think it's always better to just bait it out with Phoenix, right? And it helps you link climb later on into your access code, so pretty good. And I'm surprised he's not running Unicorn though, because usually you see Unicorn and not Phoenix, but he went the other way around. So it's kind of interesting if you think about it. Then he's going with the Aurora Dawn, of course, with the Coldwing, the Omega. So he's probably looping for 2, right? So what I think he does is he, like at the end of his combo, he goes into a level 8 synchro, makes Omega, loops them for 1, then he activates different dimensional, equip, gets them back, loops them for 2. So now they're left with 3 cards in their hand, assuming they haven't hand trapped you. So it helps you get card advantage, right? Omega, there's a reason that card is a 1, right? Imagine if we had multiples of that. Oh my, that would be brutal. The Shooting Star, of course, can help you make pretty much any synchro in your extra deck, depending on what you need. And the Underworld Balmong. So of course I'm assuming he's popping it with Charles, since he's not running the Draco Sack. So that's interesting that he didn't decide to go with the Draco Sack. That's like the most popular build nowadays, because you can end on multiple negations. But I think he went with the looping with Omega and the OTK potential with access code over setting up multiple negations, right? So now we're gonna go with the side deck. He's going with the 2 Lancia, 3 Dark Ruler no more, because you have to Dragon Link, right? three Drolls. Drolls. Yeah, if you saw the past LCS finals where it was the Dinos versus Prank Kids in the finals and Dragon Link, um, the 3v3, Droll was on both of their decks. Like, Droll is one of those cards that's just outright busted because it's not like a one-time thing like a Meister or an Ash. It's more like a throughout the turn type of thing. So that's why that plus Lancias, they're similar where they last the entire turn. They're pretty busted, so it makes sense why they're running it. It makes sense why the top decks run those cards. Then we run with the one Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Lightning Storm, double Nibiru, and red Reboot. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty interesting build. I think he went more with the consistency because he has a bunch of extenders like Gearfried, Fireflame Lady, Oliver, and all those over having more equips that may not be useful in hand. So yeah, he went with the consistency, draw power, and the OTK potential. So overall, I like it, and I'm gonna start testing this out just to see how it works like in play. And yeah, I like it a lot. Thank you guys so much for requesting this deck profile review. But as always, guys, this was Yada here. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But I'll catch you next time. Enjoy.